On a peaceful hillside, as the warm sun rose over the land, people gathered around Jesus, eager to hear his words. They had traveled from nearby villages and distant towns, drawn by his message of love, hope, and a new way of living. This day would be remembered as the Sermon on the Mount, a moment when Jesus shared teachings that would echo through the ages, bringing comfort, peace, and wisdom to all who listened. The crowd sat in anticipation as Jesus began to speak. He looked out over the people, seeing their hearts, their needs, and their hopes. With a gentle voice he began, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." The people listened intently, sensing that these blessings, these beatitudes, held a depth that went beyond the surface. He continued, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." His words carried a quiet strength, and the people felt a warmth in his message, knowing that in their sorrows they were seen, and in their grief they were not alone. Jesus' TMM's promise of comfort was like a soothing balm, reminding them that God URBUM's love was always near, even in the hardest of times. "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth," Jesus said next. He spoke of a strength not of power or pride, but of humility and gentleness. Those who did not seek to dominate, but to serve, who lived with kindness and patience, would find themselves rich in spirit. In their quiet humility, they would find a home in the world, blessed by God URTM's presence. The crowd listened closely as Jesus continued, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled." These words inspired the people to seek goodness and fairness in all things. They were reminded that the desire to live justly, to treat others with respect and love, would lead them closer to God. In a world often filled with challenges, Jesus' TM's message brought hope and direction. "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy." Jesus' TCM's words about mercy touched the hearts of those listening, inviting them to forgive, to be kind, and to show compassion. He taught them that as they extended mercy to others, God TM's mercy would flow into their own lives, creating a cycle of love and forgiveness. The people realized that true strength lay in showing mercy, that by letting go of resentment, they could experience the freedom of peace. "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Jesus' TM's gentle voice called the people to live with sincerity, to act with a pure heart free of selfish motives. He reminded them that when they lived with honesty and kindness, they would draw nearer to God, seeing him not only in their hearts but in the world around them. "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." The people were touched by these words, feeling the power of peace. Jesus called them to be agents of harmony, to spread peace wherever they went. He taught that peace was no urfaltium to it, just an absence of conflict, but a presence of love. Those who sowed peace would be recognized as God URTM's own, bringing his light into the world. "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." His words resonated deeply with those who had endured hardship for their faith. Jesus assured them that their struggles were not in vain, that they were held in high regard by God, and that their strength would lead them to a place of eternal peace. The people sat quietly, taking in the fullness of these blessings, each one a gentle reminder of God URTM's love and presence in their lives. As Jesus spoke, a calmness washed over the crowd, filling them with peace and purpose. He was not just giving them laws to follow. He was showing them a way of life, a path that led to true joy and fulfillment. Then Jesus spoke about being the light of the world. He told the crowd, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, so it gives light to everyone in the house." His message was clear. They were called to shine, to live in a way that would bring light and goodness to those around them. They were encouraged to be kind, honest, and caring, for in doing so they would let God URTM's light shine through them. As the sun began to set, Jesus continued sharing words that would shape lives for generations. He spoke of love, saying, "You have heard that it was said, AER, love your neighbor and hate your enemy, AEUR septem. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." This teaching was both challenging and comforting, reminding the people that love held the power to transform hearts, even in the face of hostility. "Do not worry about tomorrow," he said gently. "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they?" His words brought a deep sense of peace, urging the people to trust in God's provision. He reminded them that God cared for even the smallest creatures, so how much more would he care for them, his beloved children? As the night approached, Jesus concluded his sermon with one last teaching, saying, "Everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew, yet the house did not fall, for it had a strong foundation." He reminded them that living by these teachings would provide them with strength and stability, no matter what life brought. With each word, Jesus filled the people URM's hearts with peace, reminding them that God's love was steadfast, that his guidance was always available, and that they were never alone. That evening, as the people returned to their homes, they carried with them a sense of calm and purpose, inspired to live with compassion, humility, and trust. As we rest tonight, may the teachings of the Sermon on the Mount bring us peace, reminding us of the gentle love that surrounds us. Just as Jesus spoke to the crowd on that hillside, he speaks to our hearts, offering comfort, guidance, and the assurance of God's presence. Let these blessings fill us with peace, and may we drift into sleep knowing that we are loved, protected, and cherished by God.